Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video leading up to the 9th season for the Walking Dead television series. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts, do some projections on how we think the Walking Dead will continue without Rick. Alright, so I want to go ahead and update this one with all of the latest news and information we have surrounding the whole Rick leaving situation. With The Walking Dead, I mean, it's pretty much, I know it's like people are like, oh, I don't want to talk about it anymore, Trev, but the thing is that, killing Rick off is the biggest thing that's ever happened in The Walking Dead. This is bigger than the Season 7 Double Death premiere, who did Negan kill, that whole discussion. What is this going to look like? What's going to happen when Rick leaves the series? And thank you guys recently who've been picking up some t-shirts. I'll have a link in the description if you guys want to buy a Trev's Chain 2 t-shirt. It's in the description for you guys to check out the store, so it's pretty cool. So will The Walking Dead survive killing Rick? So we've seen some recent information this weekend again. Andrew Lincoln going back to the UK reportedly, and so what does that mean? They're still working on the season. He's not there. We heard 6 episodes, and now we've actually got something to show, like, okay, he's actually not in the same country as the filming. So, whether they killed him off or whether he just left in terms of the story somehow here, but they brought Shane back and everything like this. So it's like, yeah, it just more and more all the time we're starting to see more information. Got some more videos coming for you guys soon regarding that one. Have some links in the end screen videos to this video after this one. You guys can watch one of those if you want to hear more information about all the recent kind of developments with regards to Rick leaving, with regards to this happening. It's really crazy stuff, and it really just seems to more cement in this whole kind of news or information that he is going to be killed off or leaving the city. It looks to be true, guys. It's pretty much simple. I mean, I can't say confirmed 100%, but I'd say it's in the 90s now, 90-something% chance. It's close. It's getting closer to 100 all the time, right? That he's either going to be killed off or he's going to leave. One of the two, and I don't know which. So we'll see. But what's going to happen with the series after that? So that's kind of the idea of this video right here. We're going to give some projections or some predictions on what we think will happen with The Walking Dead after Rick leaves, because we know he's gone at least for a little while. Whether or not he comes back, which I think he probably will, for maybe some hallucination sequences or dream sequences or something, right? I don't think he's finished filming his final kind of scene forever in the series. I think we'll see him again in the series, but in terms of like his life, it could be like a governor situation where he comes back for it's the opposite though. Instead of coming back as a villain to scare the crap out of Terry's, he comes back to be like in a positive way, right? So those are kind of my thoughts on that one. I don't think he's done for good, guys. No, I wouldn't be surprised if he even came back later on this season to do something else. I don't know. But, yeah, it's really looking that way. So what's going to happen with the show after that, right? We've got some information. There's some polls that we went over in recent videos. Approximately half the audience is going to be, they say, right? And I know a lot of you guys have too, so it's not like this is nonsense, right? Half the audience has the feeling right now that once they kill Rick off, they're done. So they're done with The Walking Dead after that. They're not going to watch it after that. They're going to basically say, okay, well, the series is over. Rick was The Walking Dead. Rick is The Walking Dead. So when he dies, I'm out too. So that's about half. So that's about 50%. Now, how many of those people actually do that? We're going to have to wait and see, right? Like, people can say that, but and they're being honest here. They're not being dishonest or disingenuous. They really feel like once Rick is dead that they're gone too. They're dead too, right? As a viewer, right? So they're not going to watch it anymore after that. So it brings into question some projections. Okay, so what are we looking at for the future, and will the series be able to sustain itself for another couple years after season 9 here, 10 and 11 and maybe 12? With Rick being gone. So what does that look like? So in terms of, just run some numbers here. So we got the averages. Okay, so The Walking Dead recently, last couple of years, has died down a lot, right, in terms of fan interest. Season 5's average was the highest of the series. It was, in terms of US, just US viewers on first viewing, so there's more after reruns and all this stuff, right? So we got to factor that in, TiVo and all these stuff, DVR, all that good stuff, right? Internet, and so there's a lot of people who watch the show. In terms of the actual US viewers for their commercials, which is your big category of how the Walking Dead is going to be profitable, make money for AMC, and continue to be on, right? Season 5's average was 14.38 million US viewers. 14.38. So it's almost 15 million. And then you have, so that's season 5. Then season 8, just a few seasons later, it's 7.81 million on average per episode. So this is take the whole season, average them out. That's what you get based on the wiki information there. So you're talking almost a half already. So you're not quite a full half, but almost half the audience is already gone, right? So that's kind of where we're at right now. So half the audience has left after season 5 and season 6, and we're down to a little bit under 8 for US. Now, again, there's other factors. Like I said, all the internet streaming and all these other things too as well. Other countries, right? Worldwide, how many people watch The Walking Dead in the US? That many on first viewing. How many people watch in other countries? Canada, here and the UK, and there's all kinds of pockets all around the globe of people who love the series, right? So I don't know. Do you double that number? What do you, right? Because of the rest of the world, do you say US is about half and the rest of the world? See, a lot of this is speculative because we don't know the inside information. We don't have that information to see where they're at in terms of that. But, could you say the US makes up half the audience and the rest of the world is the other half? I mean, that sounds about, let's just use that for projections in terms of like estimates, right? Makes kind of sense. So if half the audience in season 9 leaves after Rick is killed off, so by the time season 10 rolls around, season 9 second half is going through, let's say people do what they said, they stop watching like they say they're going to, then you can go from about 8, let's say, you double that to 16 for the whole world. Maybe you divide it by half, right? So if they follow up with what they're saying. So in terms of U.S. viewers, you get down to about 4 million, U.S. viewers for The Walking Dead. I have a hard time seeing it ever getting below like a 4 million range. But if the series runs long enough into the teens, you could eventually see it get down. Like if you picture season 11 or 12, you could picture it being down to that kind of a range where you have about 4 million U.S. viewers, that kind of thing, watching it. So if that's, and again, for the rest of the world, you kind of have to look at it as double. So in terms of that, you get about 18 minutes of commercials per episode. U.S. commercials obviously are going to be the most lucrative for them. So let's say it's, I don't know, and the rough cost is about, it was 400, the numbers for season 5 were about $400,000 per commercial in the US for season 5 of The Walking Dead. I got the number online. Don't know if it's accurate. So let's say you get the audience down to now half and then almost half. So you're looking at like a quarter of that, right? So you're like $100,000 per commercial and about, 15, 16 minutes of commercials. They promote some of their own series in there. So obviously they're not really going to pay themselves unless they, it doesn't really matter what they pay themselves, right? So there's that. So then you're looking at about like maybe, geez, I don't know. And again, this is like outside math, right? Because we're not inside. But let's say it's 3 million per episode or something like that. Now, part of what may save The Walking Dead after Rick is gone, when the viewers start to come down here, there's a few factors in here, but I think when I look at these and I say, okay, 3 million per episode, but they're doing 16 episodes a year, that's a big factor, right? A lot of shows, they only do like, 8 or 10 for this type of genre. The fact that they've got 16 episodes a year and they get that many viewers per episode, based on that, if you want to say maybe, 48 million top line, right, for the whole season. That's top line, right? So in terms of, you got to break that down quite a bit. There's the network, and then there's, all the people that work there, and, all the operating costs, everything like that. So, but top line, you're looking at maybe that much. And again, I know this is hard to say because we're on the outside here, so we, it's not like we work for AMC, so we get to see their numbers, right? You don't get to see their numbers. But I just, as a type of estimate, I guess, that sounds about reasonable, right, for that type of range. So if they keep half, you're looking at like 24. That's quite a bit. And then again, this is accounting for just U.S. This is not counting for all the other stuff that spills off of it. So the rest of the world, what they get from that, who knows, right? Then you have to factor in, there's a lot of other things here, right? There's all the merchandise that The Walking Dead sells. So The Walking Dead selling Blu-ray, DVD, that's got to be big. I mean, I'm sure that's got to be at least, Enterbay is going to take some of it, or whatever company distributes it and everything, and the retailers and all that are going to take some. But, you got to think at least that's got to be a bit of merch sales for them. The action figures, the T-shirts, the other stuff, all the different stuff that they go ahead and release relating to The Walking Dead. Then you got Talking Dead, which is another series, which is an add-on there as well too, which they've even done for Fear the Walking Dead. So I'm sure Talking Dead, it's probably very cheap to do, and it probably does fine for them as well too. So you get the spin-off series. And then one of the biggest ones that I quickly mentioned earlier there was reruns, right? These marathons they do, because once they produce the episode, they can air that thing a million times. You know, you could air the season 1 episodes before this season starts, and they'd probably do fine. They actually would probably do better than a lot of your original programming new shows that you're going to put all this effort into producing and air it, like Turn, or what are some of the other series they have that are probably like middle of the road. A Walking Dead rerun would probably literally do better than a lot of these other series that are like middle of the road, right? You know, Ride with Norman Reedus is another add-on. Easy show to make, right? It kind of carries over with the popularity of The Walking Dead. The Robert Kirkman show they were doing, Secret History of Comics. And then, of course, because they're doing Walking Dead, Comic Book Man is probably something too as well, something that's done well over the years because, you know, it kind of gets that Walking Dead based on a comic book. You get those fans to the network, and then you get them into that. You can also use it to promote other series, like Into the Badlands and stuff like that, that may not on its own be able to really do that well if you put it around when The Walking Dead is airing, or Fear the Walking Dead or whatever. And then there's Fear the Walking Dead. Could they ever have Fear the Walking Dead on if the original Walking Dead series ended? So what I'm basically saying here is just based on some BS, right? Numbers that I'm just like thinking up in my head and I find on Google here. You know, and again, you know, are they accurate? No, because we don't have the actual inside info here on what it would look like. But if you just look at it from kind of a very abstract perspective here, what I would say is even if the audience does go down by half, it's probably still worth doing The Walking Dead for AMC, which is probably why the series actually will continue on even after it's dead, or it will go into zombie mode. They will kill Rick off, right, this season coming up, and yet the series will continue on afterwards. And even if half the people don't like it as much as they did, all these things that come into play with the series and all the spillover, all the merch, all the reruns, the spin-off series, Fear the Walking Dead, all these different factors that come into play for the network, it's like no wonder why they don't want to give it up. I mean, of course they don't want to give it up. Even if they have to pay Norman Reedus $20 million, it's like, if that's true, it might not even be true. But again, internet numbers, right? You don't know. Even if they have to pay him that, they got to pay everybody else a whole ton of money. They got to pay Greg Nicotero and his whole company and staff and everything to do all these thousands of zombies every season. Even after all of that, because of how popular the brand is, because of how big The Walking Dead has become, and all the spillover and just how much of a smash hit it's become, they will probably run this one into the ground. You know, they will run this until, yeah, it's like it's what they said, right? The bigwigs said it, right? And years ago, they said we could see it get into season 20 because they probably looked at this and the real numbers, not these BS numbers that I've just come up with off Google, but they probably looked at the real numbers and they said like, yeah, we could even continue this if we were getting like 3 or 4 million viewers an episode, because of all these other things that they have been able to value add onto, as Strand said, right? And Fear the Walking Dead, right? Value add. All of the different value adds that they're able to do. If you don't have new episodes, you can't really sell new action figures. They're not going to sell. We know that. If there's nothing on, selling action figures for a series that's not on doesn't really work. Selling T-shirts, the AMC store, it's not going to do nearly. If you end the series, you're not going to sell almost anything. It's like Breaking Bad stuff nowadays. You know, how much stuff do they sell for Breaking Bad? Not a lot. Probably some, a little, but not a lot. If it was still on, it'd be like 100 times that, right? So that's kind of what it is. So basically what I'm saying here, in terms of projections and predictions for what I think will happen after Rick leaves and is killed off this season, is that The Walking Dead will still continue on afterwards, even if half the audience leaves in the next couple of years. Even if that happens, they'll probably still continue it on further because of the fact that you just have all these different tie-ins and all these different things that if they don't have that clicking, if they don't have that going, all these other things, rely on that. Even Fear. Can you imagine? Fear the Walking Dead has a 16-episode season and The Walking Dead isn't on? Like, whatever they have to do for it, whatever keeps that, the show must go on, whatever keeps that engine running, they're going to do, right? And, so to sit back and think, like, okay, so what are you saying, Trev? You're saying they're going to milk it until the cow dies. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And even after, they're going to milk that zombie cow, right? And it's true. That's what they're going to do. You know what I mean? Because, and can you blame them for it? It's like, well, number one, Okay, there's a market need for it. People love the series. There's never been anything like it before, really, in the history of television. You've never had a series this big. They've never done Zombie Apocalypse in an ongoing TV series run. So whatever they have to do, pretty much, to keep it going from their perspective, you know, they kind of have to, right? It's like, who's the boss? Who's really the boss? Well, my argument is that the customer is always kind of the boss, or the customer base is always the boss, because without the fan base, without the customer base, the business dies. No matter what you do, if you can't satisfy your customers, if you can't satisfy the people that are doing their thing and they all totally leave, you're fired, right? That's how you really get fired. If basically AMC makes it to the point where nobody watches the show and it gets so bad and that it gets below, like they royally screw it up, like they kill everybody, you know, like they kill Daryl, right? They kill, I don't know, they kill everybody. And they reboot the whole thing again. Okay, then maybe it'll get to the point where the customers will reject it to such a degree that it will die. But even if half the audience right now rejects it, I think they'll still continue it on. You know, just because of all these things that we just mentioned. They kind of have to. And, you know, I'm kind of happy that they are, because at least there's something, right? At least it's on. I think a lot of people, like a lot of us, you know, we're saying, oh, it's not as good as it was, or it sucks, or I'm not going to watch it anymore, or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you know, I get that, but at least it's there. If you want to watch it, you have the option that you can. If you decide not to, okay, fine, but at least there's something there. If I look at a series like Breaking Bad, I'm glad they did Better Call Saul, because then there was a fan base for that there. They continued it on afterwards, and so at least, you know, people don't have Breaking Bad, right? They're never going to have Breaking Bad again, basically. But at least you have Better Call Saul in some way. So at least you have Breaking Bad in some capacity. Anyway, that'll be it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think AMC is going to do, how you feel about this, that The Walking Dead will most likely continue on even after a good portion of that audience, another good portion of that audience is probably gone. Let me know what you think. Write your comments below. Defend your points. Why do you think that it will or it won't? Do you think it'll be canceled because more than half will leave? What do you think? And if you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share and favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.